Hello everybody, this is TechNolli, and today I've got a kind of a two-part video, or two reasons for doing this video. First of all, for all you guys out there that have an HP Elite Desk 800 G3, then this is the video for you to Hackintosh your Elite. Very cool little, this is kind of like the Lenovo Tiny 93, all these micro computers that they have out there. And it's pretty cool. Let me show you the back of it. Let's see, let me open this up. So this one has USB-C. It has two USBs here. You've got your headphone and microphone jack power switch. Now on my particular one, or my customer's particular one, he has DisplayPort, and here he has DisplayPort. So this little section here, you were able to get VGA, HDMI, DisplayPort. You could have a combination of different graphics outputs, but his has all DisplayPorts, and it works fine. More USBs here. Of course, we've got a LAN connection, and this one does have a power cord like a laptop or something. So this is 7th gen technology. This is KB Lake, and it works very, very nicely, very nicely. I'm going to show you how to set the BIOS up in this one and everything. But this particular person wants Mojave put on this computer for himself, but I am going to show you how to make a USB stick, grab my EFI off my website, put it into your USB stick, and start the install of bixer. A lot of you guys are wanting to go to bixer, so I'm going to just show you the complete process of how to grab one of my EFIs, put it on a USB stick, and go. All right, so let's get started with this. Grab yourself a 16 gigabyte USB, blank USB stick, so we can put Big Sur on it, the vanilla package of Big Sur, and get started. Okay, be right back. Okay guys, so here I have a USB stick that I'm going to erase. So you've got to have at least a 16 gigabyte USB stick, preferably a USB 3, but USB 2 is fine. So let's just go up here to Utilities and erase this. So we'll go to Disk Utilities right here, and we'll make sure that we select or show all devices. And here is my SanDisk, and I'm going to erase it. I'm going to erase, and I'm going to name it USB, and I'm going to change this to macOS Extended Journal, and click Erase. Okay, all done with that. So the USB stick's ready to go. Now I'm going to show you a new way to download macOS. So let's go over here to the web and go ahead and type in Opencore. And we'll click here on the first link and click Getting Started, and make installer in macOS. All right. So what we want to do, this is a new way to download macOS. So what you have to do is copy this complete line of text all the way to the end and put it into terminal. So let's go ahead and go up here to Spotlight and type in terminal. Okay, and then I'm going to grab all of this text, copy, and paste it into terminal, and then hit enter. And put in your password. And this is really cool. All right, so here, guys, we have Catalina, High Sierra, Mojave, Catalina, And if you look closely, you will see the different versions. Like here's the newest version of Catalina. That was the last version, 10.15.7. And here's Mojave, 10.14.6. We come down here and 11.2 is the latest version of Big Sur. So all we do is type in right here a number 14 and hit enter, and it starts downloading. Now this takes a little bit of time, so we'll come back to this as soon as it's done. Okay, be right back. Then when it's done, it'll look like this, and you're ready to go to the macOS installer right here. Right there. And in here, you'll have the DMG. We're going to open it. Let it verify. And then right here, you have your installer, and we can put that right into the applications folder right here. So let's drag and drop it into here. So right here is my install macOS Big Sur in the applications folder. All right. Now, of course, like I said, we have our USB stick ready to go. So let's go back over to the web and type in make a Mac USB boot drive. And we'll click on this first link here, Apple. And we're going to grab this text right here under Big Sur all the way up to volumes / copy. Go to Spotlight, type in terminal, and paste this into here. And then add USB, because that's what we named our stick, and hit enter. Put in your password. And sometimes you'll get a stuck screen like this, but just wait for it. It'll come up. Now that took about a minute or two until we got to this screen where it says to press Y to continue. So sometimes be patient after you put in your password. Type in Y, and it's going to erase the disk, and go ahead and click OK there. And we'll start making the vanilla bootloader, okay? So when this is done, we will come back and continue on. Okay, so the installer's all done. And if we double click here, you'll see we have the install macOS Big Sur on the USB stick. Now, we need to get to the hidden partition of this USB stick, the EFI hidden partition, so we can put in the EFI folder that you just purchased. So to do that, we'll grab this program called Mount EFI, and you can get that right off of my website. Go to TechNolli.com and go right here to downloads, and there's these easy links to download it. Here it is right here. Once you download that, then you'll have it, and double click on it, and then right click on mountefi.command and open. Okay, now right here you're going to see that number 1 is the install macOS Big Sur right here. All right, so I'm going to press number 1, put in your password, and here is the hidden EFI partition, and this is where all the magic happens, okay? So you go back over to my website, and let's say TechNolli.com. All right, and you buy an EFI, and we'll just assume, you know, you buy the one for this one or for whatever system you're going to do, or you want to get a custom EFI for your particular motherboard that I have not done yet, okay? So once you do that, as soon as you pay, you'll get a link to download the EFI. All right, now terminate, I'll go right here, and right here is the EFI folder for this system. So I'll just grab it and just put it right into the EFI hidden partition right there. So there you are ready to go and start installing macOS, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and go out of here. Let's do a restart, and we're going to go into the BIOS on this one. Just for anybody that has this particular machine, they'll be able to know what settings they have to set up for it to work. So on this one, we're going to press, as soon as this screen goes black, we're going to press F10 to get to the BIOS. All right, now on this particular one, just go over to Security. I use the arrow keys, it's a lot easier. And we'll just check all of these settings and everything is okay. So we'll go over to Advanced and go down to Boot Options. And we can just set this up for USB storage boot. We definitely want UEFI boot order. You can leave this on legacy boot if you'd like. So let's go back and go down to System Options. And we want to make sure that this right here, virtualization technology for directed, is disabled or not checked. So VTD is not checked. Go back out of here. Built in, this is extremely important or you'll get a black screen. You have to change the memory size. It comes default at 32. You have to set it to 64. And then we want the audio device turned on. We want the internal speakers turned on, and the USB and Bluetooth. All right, let's go down here to port options. And this just talks about the USB ports and SATA, and we want everything enabled. Nothing to change here. Power management options. Nothing really to change here except this power on from keyboard ports. Go ahead and check that. And then nothing under remote. We'll go over to UEFI drivers, and there's nothing to change. So let's go back over here and save changes and exit on this one and say yes. All right, now the boot menu key for this computer is F9. Your gigabyte motherboards are F12. Your ASRock are let's see, F11, and Asus is F8. All right, so what we want to do is we want to boot this from the USB stick. So I'm going to go here to install macOS bixer from the external, which is the USB. So we hit enter, and away it goes. Now the reason that I leave the text on is in case you guys get into a situation where it stalls on you and it won't boot. So you can send me a picture of the screen of where it stopped if it stops. All right, just continue on here, coming right up. Now Big Sur takes a lot longer to install than Mojave or Catalina. So remember that, and there's very different screens in the process, but basically it's the same, and it will reboot several times, so don't be afraid. We'll wait here till it comes up to the disk utility menu. All right, so there we go. So we're on disk utility. We click on here, click continue. Make sure under view right here that you select this down arrow and show all devices. All right, so right here is the hard drive on this particular one. It's just a SATA, 2.5-inch SATA. So we're going to erase it right here. And I like to call it macOS. macOS. We want APFS and we want GUID partition map. Click erase. Okay, we're done. We'll X out of here and install macOS Big Sur. Continue. continue, agree, and agree. Select the drive we just named, macOS, continue. And this will get to about 12 minutes and then it'll reboot. So when it gets closer to that, we'll come back and we'll continue on with the boot process. Okay, we're down to 12 minutes. So let's see here. And there it goes. So we'll just hold on a second, let this come back up. Now it should choose by itself macOS installer. So we're going to come up here again. There it goes. It's selected macOS installer. So it just continues on. Second boot process. And once it gets back up to the Apple logo again, it'll take more time on this screen. So just be patient with it. Now it says 29 minutes remaining, but it will reboot before that. And we'll show you those reboots. Okay, got down to 13 minutes remaining and we're on a reboot. So let's see what happens now. All right, coming back up here, and I stopped it for you just so you'd see that it will continue with macOS installer. And we'll just continue on here. Like I said, it'll be a few reboots on this one. Now, in this particular reboot, you will see tons of text on the screen, and you might even think, oh, there's something wrong with this install. Just let it run because it does take a long time to go through everything that's going to do with Big Sur. It's totally different than Mojave and Catalina. So we'll just wait for it. And finally, it comes up. Man, it goes through, but it's just doing a restart. Okay, so it does pick Mac OS, which is what we named our hard drive, and that's what we want. All right. Let's see where we are now. Okay, we got up to the logo again, but it's going to reboot again, I believe. So this will be like reboot number 4 or something. All right, there we go again. We'll come back up. Here we're coming up again. And here we are. Woo! Long process, but it does make it. All right, we'll just go ahead and select our country. Okay, continue. Not now. Continue. We're not going to use Migration Assistant now, so not now. Don't sign in yet, so just set up later. And then skip. And then agree and agree. And just name it whatever you like. I'm just going to call it Mac. And give it a password, at least 4 characters. Continue. And I always do customize right here. I do enable location services, and then I uncheck analytics. Continue. Set up later. I don't want Siri. You can choose it if you like. Continue. Select your lighting that you want. If you want dark mode or if you want auto. I'm going to choose light mode for now. All right, and then just do what it says here. Press on the keys that show there, done. And there we are, it's installed. But we have to transfer the EFI from the USB stick, hidden EFI partition, to the hidden EFI partition on the hard drive. So let's jump back over to TechNolli again. And we'll go over to the downloads page. And I'm going to need, let's see, proper tree I'm going to need, because I want to show you a couple of things. So download that. And let's see, I'm going to need mount EFI. Download that. And I'm going to generate serial numbers. So we'll download Gen SM BIOS. All right, let's close these out. And let's just go right here to downloads, and I'll just throw these out on the desktop so you can see what I'm doing. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is mount the EFI folders. So right click on mount EFI.command and open and say OK. And what you see here is number 1, which is my install macOS. So I'm going to select number 1, put in my password. And then I also want to select number 3, which is my SSD drive. Okay, so we'll close this out. And I'm going to jump over here to computer. And here is the EFI on the SSD. So we'll click on that one, and then we'll open this one, which is on the USB stick. And we'll copy this EFI from the USB to the SSD and replace it. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and eject my USB stick. All right, take that out. Now, while I'm right here, I'm going to create new serial numbers and a UUID for this computer, because right now if I go to About This Mac, this number is an old number and you don't want to use it. So all you do is go here and right click on gensmbios.command and open. Okay. Now you have to have your internet hooked up for this to work. So make sure your internet is hooked up. I have my LAN cable connected. So press number 1 and hit enter. And then enter again. And then number 2. And it wants to know where the config.plist is on this computer. So I'm going to double click on OC. And I'm just going to drag this over here to this folder and hit enter. Then simply I use number 3 because I want to generate SM BIOS and put in the system name of this computer. Mac Mini 8,1. Now that's just for this particular computer. If you have an i9 9900K or something like that, a 9th gen, then you're going to use iMac 19,1. If you have a 10th gen, you would want to use iMac 20,1 or 20,2 if you have a i7 10700 or higher CPU. So there we go. It just generated those numbers. Hit return again. And then Q for quit. All right, so we're done with that. Now, while we're here, I want to go ahead and use proper tree. And we double click on that, right click and open. And then open. And now what we want to do is go to File, Open, and go to our EFI on this Mac Mini right here. EFI, OC, and config.plist, and click Open. Okay, now I want to get rid of all of the text that comes up every time you boot this thing. So it's really simple. Just scroll all the way down until you see NVRAM right here. And we go to boot args, double click to highlight everything, and get rid of the -V. So we're just going to backspace and then hit enter, and it's done. So now when this thing boots up, all of the text will go away. You'll just have the Apple logo. So I'll show you. So I'll hit the red X and make sure you save. Okay. We'll close out terminal, restart, and we'll see it real quick. All right. Then it comes to that little screen and it starts on its own just like a real Mac. Now that little screen, that little picker, we call that a picker window. It comes in real handy if you're going to do dual boot, because that is where you can select Windows or Linux or Mac OS. Okay? So I'll put in my password, and that's all you have to do, guys. That's it. So this is really cool. We've got a new way to download Mac OS, so you're not required to have the latest real Mac to do it. You could do it on an old Mac, and you'll be able to download Mac OS, the latest versions or even older versions, and then grab the EFI of your choice. If you make your own, great. It would be the same process, but just grab that EFI, put it in the hidden partition, and away you go. All right. Now let me show you one more thing. If you go back over to my website, TechNolli.com, and if you go over here to buy custom folders and you request an EFI that's not listed, you will get serial numbers for just you, on your EFI. So you won't have to do this last step that I just showed you. You would only have to do it on these because these are sold over and over again. But the other ones, the ones that you request, they have the serial numbers all ready to go for you, so you don't have to do that last step. Okay? All right, guys. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.